So it's summertime again, and churches are doing the same thing they did last year. They're holding their summer series at the movies, and they're doing themes from the top movies that Hollywood is putting out. And they're also another trend. They are doing Super Mario Brothers themed church services. So this is big. This is actually a new trend that is catching on. And by the way, when one church does this, most agree they're having an outside corporation, consultants come up with the outline. Someone else writes the sermon, and you can actually buy the package. So you can buy from an outside source. A church can buy the sermon, they can buy the materials, have it all shipped in for thousands and thousands of dollars, of course, and they decorate their church and they repeat basically what other churches did last year. They just repeat the same type of sermon. And you can see on the screen, this is really making a mockery of Christian worship. And they're spending the Lord's money on frivolous things like this. So, Super Mario Brothers themed church service. This pastor greeted his church after climbing up through a pipe, a warp pipe from the video game series that you played. Remember Mario Brothers? Maybe some of you played it when you were, 14 years old. Well, this grown adult, this pastor, climbs through the warp zone pipe and he greets his church. Here's another picture, and you can see the elaborate decoration, just the amount of money that they spend on this. And this church right here that you're looking at is an 85,000 member megachurch. Think about that. And this little girl up in the top right hand corner of the screen, this little girl is being brought to church, quote unquote, and she's sitting on the lap of Bowser from Super Mario Brothers. But think about this, in a church setting, you have a dragon with horns, and he's the bad guy. I mean, what is this like? Hey, kids, come and pose with basically an emblem of Satan. Like, what in the world? But this is actually very common. Another thing that's happening in churches, the pastor will ride in on a roller coaster. And if you look at all the clips, a whole bunch of churches have done this. The pastor rides in on a roller coaster. If you look at it, it's actually the same roller coaster. So you can rent this for $5,000 a day, apparently. So again, think about the money churches are spending. And the pastor will ride in on a roller coaster. And why would he do that? Well, the sermon has something to do with a roller coaster. Who knows how they twist the Bible to make that fit, but this is what churches are doing. And you say, well, it's silly, but it's worse than that. They're not taking God seriously. On top of that, they are teaching people. You say, well, there's not a lot of discipleship happening in these churches. Oh, yes, there is. Because they are teaching people, they are discipling them. They're teaching others to not take God seriously. You cannot tell me that these people take their relationship with the Lord seriously if they're attending a church like this and they're okay with all of this. No, it's being taught from the pulpit. Not that they actually have a pulpit, but there's a rock band that plays for the first half hour, 40 minutes. Then the pastor rides in on a roller coaster or sometimes comes in on a zip line, and he is teaching everybody, hey, I don't take God seriously and neither should you. This is all just fun and games. This is a party. It's churchianity, whatever people call it. It's entertainment. It is not worship. It's worse than that. It's actually strange fire. If you know the reference in Leviticus 10, in the Old Testament, the priests were to worship God in a very specific way. And then when the sons of Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, when they worshiped the Lord the wrong way, intentionally, and they offered strange fire to the Lord, it says that fire came out from the Lord and consumed them. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's just the Old Testament. But if you look in the New Testament, the book of Acts, when Ananias and Sapphira approached the Lord in an unholy manner, and they intentionally disgraced the church by lying about their tithe money and all the rest, God struck them dead. Now, I'm not saying that God does that today. He did that. He made an example out of them in both the Old and New Testament to let everyone know that He is holy. The Lord is holy, and He wants us to worship Him in spirit and in truth. And when we approach the Lord, we are to take Him seriously. The New Testament says about our God, He is a consuming fire. The fear of the Lord is what? The beginning of wisdom. But this is just an appeal. Number one, anyone who is in one of these mega churches, or even if you're in a small town local church where they're just trying to copy the nightclub scene, the rock and roll mega church. It's a small local church in your area, but they're trying to copy the mega churches with a rock band followed by some hip pastor doing some new type of thing. Well, if that's the case, you need to leave those types of churches. Also, pray for the people in these churches. A lot of people don't go to church, and they're simply watching online. And who are they watching? They're watching places like this. This will be the last thing we'll talk about. Here is a guy, Craig Rochelle. He's the one doing the Mario theme. Again, $85,000, or excuse me, 85,000 member. Who knows? He might have spent that much money on all of this on the set. But 85,000 member megachurch. And notice what's on the screen behind him. He says, we will do anything short of sin to reach people who don't know Christ. And then below that, it says, to reach people no one is reaching, we'll have to do things no one else is doing. Well, the reality is everyone's doing this these days. It's not unique to him. So this is actually pretty common. But that other statement, we will do anything short of sin, I propose to you, this is sin. This absolutely is sinful. To treat God like this, to treat His house like this, it makes a mockery of Christian worship, and I believe this is offering strange fire to the Lord. This is sinful. So please pray for the people caught in the megachurch deception. Also, the small churches that are trying to copy the larger churches. They think if they do what they do, they'll do the same thing, and they'll get tons of people coming in. And these large churches have all this church growth. And if we do the same, if we just copy them with the rock band and everything else, and the pastor with his muscle shirt or a Super Mario outfit, if we do that, clown stuff, we'll get a big crowd too. And people are disgracing the house of the Lord. And it's time more and more people spoke up against it. Thank you for listening. And until next time, may the Lord be with you. Have a great day.